My name is Bob O'Connor. I was 25 years old when I was deployed. I was in the service. I was in Vietnam from all of 1970, from the end of '69 to the end of 1970. I was deployed in I Corps, which is the northern region of South Vietnam. My experience at boot camp. My experience with boot camp was, I would say, was good. It was a lot of the individuals, a lot of boys had issues with the discipline and the regiment, but I didn't have any problem with it. I was in good shape and didn't have any trouble physically nor mentally. I remember getting off the plane, and it was. The heat really hit me. I've never experienced any heat like that, and it took quite a while to get adjusted to the heat. Average day was mostly patrolling. We would be. I was in an air mobile unit, so we flew helicopters into new areas. We would land on a hilltop, and from there go on patrols. Ambushes, search and destroys, observations, but mostly in the field on patrols. That was our typical day. Favorite memory was the nature. The rivers and the streams were, as I remember, they were crystal clear. You could see down 10, 12 feet. Beautiful water, and at night, because there was no artificial light, you could write letters by the moonlight or by the stars. It was very peaceful at night, and the rivers were very calming. It wasn't physically the hardest, but what took your toll was when you had to carry your buddies who died in a firefight and put them into helicopters, put them in body bags, and then put them in helicopters. That was difficult. I served my full tour. I remember being on at our nightly our NP, which is night perimeter, and getting a call from the rear indicating that I had received my DROS, which is date of rotation out of service, and we were socked in at the time. Couldn't get a helicopter in, and it was almost a week before they could come in and get me and take me back to the rear. And then I flew out from Saigon in a commercial jet. The Army had hired commercial aircraft, and I flew back to Fort Ord on a commercial aircraft. I wasn't treated any differently. I didn't have any trouble getting a job. You hear horror stories about people being not treated well, but that was not my case. I was always treated with respect after I got back to the world.
Was it hard to adjust to civilian life?
I wouldn't say it's easy, but it was. Did I have nightmares? Yeah, but it was just a transition. It wasn't difficult any more than a transition from any other walk of life.
If you could do it again, would you?
Absolutely. I'd serve my country in a heartbeat. Too old now, but I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. Well, when you got in country, you were really aware of your surroundings. You were aware of every tree, every branch crack, or anything in the wind, anything you smelled. Your senses were extremely alert. And then as you're in country longer and longer, and toward the end of your tour, your sense of danger was heightened only when those elements occurred that would truly become dangerous. So I would say you it's like anything, you know, when you're first there, you're very aware of everything, and then as you go on, you become less aware, and then as you finish your tour, you become more and more alert and aware of your surroundings. I did, through my contact with Agent Orange, I 28 years ago, I came down with AML, a form of leukemia, a blood disorder, but I've survived that. But other than that, no physical or mental long-term effects. You know, I tell them that, you know, to get through this life, you've got to work. You're not alone. You've got to work. You've got to work as a team. You've got to treat everybody like a brother. You've got to. You're not in the world alone, and you've got to work hard. And if you want something, if you really want to accomplish your goals, it just takes a lot of hard work.